I do not like the idea of the government, forgive the term, basically at gunpoint saying you are going to be forced to care about your community. We are going to make you care by taking this money from you on an annual basis. We're going to put it under the control of a group of people that we are going to choose from, and we are going to decide how this money is going to be spent. The two buildings that we own, the amount of money that this would cost our little business every year comes pretty close to $1,000. That's about 2 to 3 months of cutting keys in my little lock shop to pay for that.
I'm here to speak in opposition to this plan for a number of reasons. The first one is I don't know what it is. We're asked to support or reject a plan, and I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know who's going to do it. I don't know how it's going to be done. I've asked. I called the city. I was told that I'd be sent something of a plan, which I never received. So really, other than this gerrymandered map that is printed up here, and I'm not really sure how they came about that, that's the only information I have as to what's going on.
Creating a bid would force us to pay a very unwanted financial assessment, let's be honest, tax, in addition to the property tax that we already paid. That's double taxation now and forever.
I'm against this proposal. If it were up to me personally, I would love it if everything looked perfect and neat and clean and all the businesses were kept up. Terry, my uncle, feels the same way. Over the last couple of years, we've spent between $50,000 and $60,000 improving our 2 commercial buildings in that area to make sure that they look good, that our renters are happy, that they're stable, that they're functional. We did that on our own. Jeff told the story of how my uncle for years spent his own money and his own time, hours, thousands of dollars, himself replacing those Christmas lights up in Barton. Didn't have to. He did it because he wanted the community to be better. Terry, when I was talking to him about this, said no business gets customers by having benches outside or flower pots hanging or banners hanging. They get business by providing a service or a good that people want. And I agree wholeheartedly. And I think there are very good businesses in West Bend, and there are beautiful buildings in West Bend. The Long Branch just played it. It looks great. Both counseling buildings, there's great looking buildings, but there's a lot of buildings that don't look good. And those business building owners and business owners should do what they can to make them better on their own. It shouldn't be up to the collective to do it, and that's the part that I have a big problem with here.
Reaching into our pocket and pulling out money to put up planters and bushes or whatever else is ridiculous.
In America, we're supposed to vote one man, one vote, or one person, one vote. Here, the person's weight of his vote is based on the valuation of his property. That's not right.
And I don't know the full ins and outs of this proposal about something about facade improvement grants from the city, and then I just about lost it. Because after spending all this money ourselves to improve our businesses and our buildings for the last few years, if I find out down the road that my money that I am now giving this additional $1,000 a year is going to people so that they can fix up their buildings, it's not fair and it's not right, and I think most of us have a problem with that.
I don't think that any of those businesses are going to benefit, as these gentlemen said, from planters and benches and every other damn thing.
Want to do that. It also reminds me of this idea of Obamacare, where you have to pass the package in order to find out what's in it. And we really know how that turned out. So I'm really not interested in agreeing to something that I don't know what it is.
How do we measure success of business development? And over what period of time do we measure that success? And how do we seek to achieve that success? So if we're going to raise $50,000 this year, and it's presumably the same amount or a similar amount in the next 5 years, and spend $250,000, at what intervals are we spending that money, and what are we spending it on, and what are we trying to achieve, and how do we measure that? And I feel that just raising the money and putting it into a kitty to spend on what we think we want to do at the time is sort of irresponsible. But maybe we need to do more planning before we make something as permanent as a bid.
I'm appalled by this 40%, but the gentleman brought it up, one man, one vote. I haven't looked at the assessed values, but I can guarantee I could look at the assessed values, and there's probably a very minute number of businesses to get to that 40%, i.e. there's 72 people, 72 businesses affected. What, does it only take 13 or 14 to get the okay? Because that's not one man, one vote, that's 40%. Thank God this guy over here got 31 people here to talk against it, and he did some math on the $9 million mark. Good job on that. I just think that that's kind of shell game, and that's bullshit, to be honest.
Year after year, you're gonna take the same money in a time of inflation rising? We don't know how high that's gonna go or what our financial status is gonna be 2 years from now. And you're not giving us a choice to decide what to do with our own money. I would ask that you please vote against this proposal. It's just not the right time, and I think there's better ways to do it than an annual assessment that gets basically, like Bart said, it's a tax that gets added on to us. It's not fair and it's not the right thing to do. Thank you for listening to me.
Thanks, Frank.